Hi, are you sick and tired of paying hundreds of dollars a month for cable or dish? GNR TV is your answer. These guys have an incredible 100% legal product that is a cord cutter's dream. For as low as $25 a month, you will get over 400 HD channels, including all major sports packages, pay per views, premium movies, and entertainment. To get started, all you need is a streaming device, such as an Amazon Fire Stick, internet, and a desire to save a ton of cash. No contracts, no credit checks, no hidden fees. I myself have been a subscriber, and I must say this service is amazing. To learn more, search GNR TV on Facebook or Instagram, and I will also be posting a link on my pages to check out on my podcast website. Lastly, for first-time subscribers, use promo code SIR30 to save $5 for your first month. GNR TV, streaming done right.
Let's get slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy horror fans. On this podcast, you will hear me and a guest do some movie reviews, random funny horror chats, and whatever else comes to mind. So tune in, kick back, relax, and always remember, I'll see you in your nightmares.
Well, just Jason's mask.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of Horror with Sir Sturdy. I'm your host, Sir Sturdy, and I have my awesome guest with me, Joe Lujan. Joe, how's it going?
Pretty good, bud. Pretty good. Thank you for having me.
And I did forget to mention, this was just 2 seconds ago, writer, producer, director. But
yeah, all of the above.
yes, which is just, I'm just going to jump right into it. So before I ask you the horror questions, what got you into writing, producing, and directing?
Oh man, it's been, oof. It was I focused a lot. I wanted to be a veterinarian. Let's start there. I wanted to be a veterinarian. That's what I wanted to go to school for. This was already in middle school. In middle school, I was already thinking what I wanted to do with my life. And I was doing short films with my siblings and cousins for fun. We were just doing little projects here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it started getting a little too serious. You know, I was like, I really want this to be something I want to do all the time. And, but obviously with family, they were just, obviously the more important thing was what are you going to do for school? What are you going to do after you graduate and all that? So veterinarian was going to be it. But my older sister actually one day snuck us out, me and my younger brother, out of school. And she, obviously told him we had this quote, doctor's appointment. And she got us to go watch the first Resident Evil. First Resident Evil was coming out. It was the premiere day, and we were like, let's go see it. And that's when it all changed. Once I saw those roll credits, I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to make films. I'm going to write and direct my own films, and I've been doing it for almost 17 years now. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's how it started.
And before we started recording, you were telling me how you have some horror, you have some, what was the other one? Sci-fi, and how you do the crossover with all of them, like how the stories all connect, which I thought was really interesting because usually one genre, like say if it's Marvel connecting with Marvel, or horror connecting with horror. It's not like a crossover of those, which I think is real cool. Do you want to?
Thank you. Yeah. No. I mean, it was something that started. I first came up with the first concept when I was when I was in college, back in my hometown of El Paso.
Mm-hmm.
We were out there. I was doing school, and I was obviously focused on filmmaking. But I created a character called Tricalypse, and this one character was just the main character. I had the story, and then all of a sudden, the character started growing, and then I created this whole universe called the Ravage Rain universe. And after that, all my short films, I was just kind of expanding the universe, but never really connected anything.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came to the feature films, I started doing that. It's like the killer from Rust is now during the timeline. Total spoiler right now. I'm totally spoiling this for anyone who hasn't seen the Immortal Wars. If you watch certain news banners in the Immortal Wars, you'll see that there's a story also being told within the banners. So the killer from Rust is on trial, and all the courts and the everything's happening at the same time the Immortal Wars is taking place. That's how I connected those films. So I kind of crossed genres. Like you said, the Immortal Wars is very sci-fi action. It is based off of my comic books. So I very more family-friendly stories, but then Rust and Atelophobia are not very family-friendly and not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I did. I crossed the path. The universes, I should say. They just cross paths in the same universe. And it's still expanding. More surprises are coming from a new project that will be airing later on this month. Let's see who can catch that when they view it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with your movies, like you're saying that how they connect, is there a certain order to watch these movies, or does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter actually. The timeline is kind of just stuff is happening simultaneously at the same time. So
okay.
Not really. Yeah, the only thing that is off is if you read the comic books. The comic books do take place after all 3 of the Immortal Wars films. So if you read the books, you definitely will get spoilers of certain characters from the movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
That I will say, yeah.
That's cool though. Now, are the comics yours too?
Yeah. I wrote the comics.
Oh, that's...
I designed the characters, and I used to do a lot of drawing and sketching when I was in school, but I'm so busy with the filmmaking and doing all that I ended up contracting my own artists that go off of my design. And I work very closely with them, and we work back and forth on how certain characters will be positioned a certain way, or what are the characters doing in these strips or these shots. Like I work very close with the artist, and that's how we end up getting the books out. Yeah.
So with that being said, because you said you don't really draw as much because you don't have the time, which I understand. They get your vision, like you tell them your vision, they kind of get it pretty much how you want it for the most part.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, when we get the process I do with my artists is I write. It's not traditional the way it's normally done, but I write each book as a script of a film. So it's like this character's doing this, and this is the line they're saying. And once I give that to them, I have all of my original sketches from every single character that I give to them. I was like, this is exactly what they're wearing. This is exactly their eye color, everything, their height, everything that has to do with the character. And at that point, then we're like, okay, the first page, in this situation, these characters are running down the hallway. Well, I tell them I want Triclips to be 5 feet in front of Iroh. I work very, very close with the artist, and they get exactly what it is that I'm trying to tell within the story. And that's the way I do it with all the books. Yeah.
See, that's real cool because I'm no artist by any means, but I just feel like with me, for example, I feel if someone's telling me their vision, well, I can't draw for nothing, so I wouldn't really be able to put that vision out there for them how they'd want it. But it's cool how you say they use your old sketches and then just how you write it out as like a movie script for the book, which I think that is different, but I think it's cool. It's real unique. It's just something fresh out there.
Yeah, and I think it's the best way to describe the story. For me, it's easier that way. I learned that. So the way I transition how I write my scripts onto film, I kind of use the same process when it comes to my books.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah.
I was literally just about to ask you that. Is there a certain genre you like to do more than others, or do you like just jumping around with different genres?
Honestly, I'm obsessed with the horror genre. Since I was a kid, horror was always the one thing that just intrigued me. And I think it was also because when I was younger, my parents never really let us watch horror films, me and my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
So when my grandmother would babysit, her and my older sister would be like, okay, you guys, we're going to watch a scary movie. It was kind of like the rush, kind of like, oh, we're doing something bad,
mm-hmm.
that I think probably triggered that whole excitement of horror, and the first films that I watched was like Scream and I Know Which de la Summer. Those were what we were watching at that time. So I grew to love that genre, the situations, the universe, the stuff that was happening on film. Obviously, in real life, it's horrible situations. And when it comes to real stuff, I can't take that. Like my stomach can't take it. My mind is totally messed up. But the fake stuff, I'm really intrigued by that. So I worked on that. I mean, I was working. I've done over 100 short films. No exaggeration, literally. Um, and majority, I want to say 98% of that are all horror stories and ghost stories and stuff like that. So I would say horror is my favorite. But after I finished the Rust films and the Telephobia, my team and producers and my manager, they really pushed me to try something different, something that was more for a broad audience for everyone else. Um, and that's when I decided, you know what? Well, I did create this character. Her name's Tricalypse, and there's this universe, and I kind of threw it at them. And then I was pushed into, not pushed, I was encouraged, I should say, encouraged to dive into the sci-fi action genre, and I fell in love with it.
That's cool though. And I mean, again,
Yeah.
I feel it's one of those things where you can kind of mix them. You can mix them all. Oh god, there's somebody revving up the damn engine outside. Like they got no damn sense.
It's okay.
I don't think they know I'm recording, but that's unnecessary either way. But now I lost my train of thought. Oh, like how, yeah, again, how you like mix them all together. I feel horror can really go with any type of genre anyway, so it's not thrown off too much.
Yeah, no, I think sci-fi falls into a little bit of the horror genre. Yeah, I agree. Well, what I did with the Immortal Wars was, yes, I kept it very kid-friendly,
Hmm.
but I did throw in some of my horror elements in certain scenes and in certain um, parts of the story. So you do get a taste of that. A lot so, I want to say more so in the Immortal Wars 2, is you'll get a lot more of the elements of horror.
Okay. Now, with those elements, is it like Easter eggs or is it like you'll
No,
see it?
they're full blown
Okay.
like horror thriller suspense scenes. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
good. I was gonna say because I don't mind Easter eggs, but it's like, oh damn it, I missed that, and I gotta go back watch this movie like 14
There are
times.
Easter eggs. There definitely are Easter eggs in the Immortal Wars 1 and 2. But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever acted in any of your own stuff?
um, actually, I did take on a role in the Immortal Wars 2.
Okay.
Yeah, the producers and some of the team really liked how I was working with the cast. On the first one, that they were like, you should try making an appearance in the second one. You know, you're good, and you should really consider that. And at first, I was like, oh, I don't know, I don't like seeing myself on camera. But I gave in, and yeah, I took on the role of Lash. He's a deviant. He's a fighter. He has special powers. His power is an electric whip. So,
interesting.
Like Whiplash, but Lash, yeah.
Now, do you like acting as much as producing and everything, or?
I like it. I do like it. Yeah. I can say that it's growing on me. It is growing on me. The character does return for the Immortal Wars 3. So, yeah, no, I do like it. Yeah. Yeah, I do like it.
That's good. That's good, though. I mean, I've talked to other people, and some say that some just like to act, which is fine. Some just like to direct and produce and write, which is all fine. And some kind of like you like to do everything across the board. I guess
it's important to know all the departments when you're involved with I think in any line of business, actually, I could say that.
Yeah.
It's best to know all of the departments and how they work and how do they work off of each other and complement each other. I think it's very important that to help to get to the finished product, for sure.
I agree with you on that. Again, I don't know anything about the whole directing and writing thing, but I do agree with you on that as far as just learning from bottom to top, so you know how everything's run. And I feel if you know more in those fields, I'll just say with your field, you'll have more respect and appreciation for everybody you're working with, because it's like this person has to do this person has to do this, so you know what comes with that. It's not as easy as it looks, I guess. Like for me, I see a finished product, I'm like, this movie was awesome, or the acting was bad, and you think to yourself, like, me and my friends could have done this acting, but knowing damn well we can't. But it's just, I've never got to sit on, I guess I never got to sit on set to kind of, I do respect it, don't get me wrong, but to kind of just see what really goes on there.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's I always think as well. I have friends and family members are like, well, this movie wasn't good and this movie sucked or whatever. But me as an artist and I know what it takes to finish a simple project.
Mm-hmm.
I respect anything that's created. I respect the fact that you finished the film and the film was completed. That alone is an accomplishment that not many people can get. You know?
Very true.
So I kind of learned that you have to appreciate anything that's created. If the acting was bad or something was not right, there's a reason behind it necessarily. Like maybe the actor was not cooperating with the director, or maybe the actor was related to the producer and that's why the actor had the role or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you just don't know. You don't know why certain things were done or why certain things came out the way they did. But at the end, the product was finished. It's out there for the world to see. And there's a lot of other projects out there that just don't get done or don't get finished.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So I've grown to respect it all. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. What do you feel about like the fan films, as far as like, just to throw one out, like Friday the 13th type of deal? Would you ever do something like that?
Yeah, no, I have actually. Like I mentioned, I'm upset with Resident Evil. I was obsessed, and I still am. I mean, that movie. If I'm in a bad mood or if I'm in not having a great day, I can pop in one of the Resident Evil movies, and it gets me back on board.
That's good.
I actually did a fan series called Chambers, and it focused on a character called Rebecca Chambers from Resident Evil.
Oh.
And I followed the events from the mansion to. I added my own little spin on it of what the character's gone through, and I in that story I kind of connected it with the movies too. So she's like always a few steps behind Alice from the main character of Resident Evil. So it kind of I did a fan series, but kind of did something original as well with it.
That's cool. Where now?
Yeah,
where?
and I think that's. Go for it. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry. Where would we be able? Wow. Where would we be able to find that? Because my brother is a huge like he loves the games, but I'm sure he would check this out.
Yeah, no, and it's a cool thing with this project. Sorry, to answer your question, it's streaming on our website, carcass-studios.com. So
Okay.
It's streaming for free on our website. And yeah, no, I think that's one thing that I wanted to do with the series too. With that series was I wanted to mimic the video game. So it has a lot of that like first player perspective with the camera work and characters from the games. For those who know Resident Evil, the Licker actually, we did create that character for the series, so the Licker does pop out numerous times in the show. And I connected other characters from all the other games, like Resident Evil. We have Shiva, Resident Evil 5. Shiva, one of the characters from that game, also makes an appearance in the series. So yeah, I think people will enjoy that. It was a fun little project. Keep in mind, it was a very no-budget project. It was just me and friends creating, and we were very proud of the finished product. And it came out pretty fun. It was pretty fun to create something like that.
Now, is that something you would do again? Like, say if you had like with an Indiegogo backing, maybe, or would you rather focus on your own stories?
I mean, I do. That'd be fun, definitely. But I think right now we're kind of just focused on the original content, or a lot of studio work is what my team's pushing me towards. So yeah, no, I mean, if there was the time for that, definitely, I would probably consider that again. I would love to do a series on Resident Evil. You know, I would love to direct and write an actual series for a platform.
Yeah.
And kind of bring a live action version of Resident Evil, but that took place in the mansion. That's something I've always wished I could have done. But yeah, no, I definitely would if time would permit it, for sure. Yeah.
Hey, maybe one day, man. That would be really interesting. You never know.
Yeah, one day.
Yep. Gotta take it one day at a time with those things.
Definitely, yeah.
So I'm guessing Resident Evil is your favorite horror movie and video game?
Video game, it's up there for sure. The movies for sure are my favorite movies of all time. I mean, I love the whole franchise. The whole series was my everything. Same for the game. But right now I'm definitely obsessed with Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh.
It is like amazing game, and I'm obsessed with that game. But yeah, no, Resident Evil definitely my go-to film for anything. And then after that comes like Scream, and I know it's De La Summer, and Wrong Turn. Yeah.
Yeah. Wrong Turn is a very fun freaking series.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it. As much as people hate it, I'm just like, I want more.
I'm the same way. They're actually supposed to be. They're actually. I don't know if they're doing a sequel or they're doing a remake.
I know.
Of
I
that.
heard that. I was a little bummed when I heard that. I was like, don't reboot it. Continue it. I want a sequel. I want to see more. Don't redo it. You know, it's like we've grown to these characters and the killers, and I'm like, don't reboot it. Let's get a sequel going.
I'm good with either. I want to see what they do with that. That'll be really interesting.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Yeah. No, I was with the first one. I'm like, they have to do a sequel. We have to see what happens to Eliza Dushku and the other character. We have to see. Like, I want to know what happened. You know, but we didn't get that.
Yeah, I feel like every movie of those, the story was a little bit different, and it was cool. Like the kills were so cool. That's one thing that always had me hooked. I'm like, they're real brutal kills.
That was the one thing that I think the viewers were always looking forward to. Like, how are they going to make a kill just as crazy and messed up this time?
And they kept doing. They were real successful with that.
Yeah, no. I love that series.
Oh, what was I going to ask you next? I had something and it just slipped. I hate that. Do you have any questions for me while I'm thinking?
No. I mean, let me ask you, what is your favorite horror film?
Okay.
That.
I don't. This is tough for me, right? Because like I have a favorite horror icon. Like my favorite horror icon / franchise is Friday the 13th and Jason Voorhees. But as far as like a favorite horror movie, I don't really have one. It's just kind of like I'm like one of the
same way. I have to choose like a top 5.
That's tough. Yeah, it's tough because it's like I'll put it to you like this, like Jaws, for example. We did a review on that I think last year, and we gave that. I think I gave it a 9 or a 10. I don't remember, but it was like a high rating. And then like Friday the 13th, I think we for certain movies we either gave a 7 or 8 for the ones that we did review. But even though Jaws I feel is a better movie overall than the Friday the 13th franchise, I'll watch Friday the 13th all day over Jaws a million times a day, back to back to back. So it's kind of weird how it goes, you know? Like, it's kind of weird how it goes. Like, you know this is a better movie, a better put together movie, better story, but this is just way more entertaining to watch.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree. I'm the same way with my films. I can't, I don't know. I will say my favorite horror icon, yours is Jason. I'll probably say mine is Michael Myers. That guy scares me.
He's...
You know, to me, he's like the more realistic, I feel.
Yeah.
Out of all of them out there, he's the more realistic character that I'm like, that can actually happen. Like, yes, this guy can actually go out there and just kill innocent people. You know, I obviously Jason can too, but I'm like, how many times has Jason been killed already? Michael Myers still hasn't been killed, and he's still out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Makes it scary for me.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But I mean, if you want to go that route, as far as fear, Leatherface is a scary bastard too with that chainsaw.
That too. He is messed up for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And they kill you and eat you.
Yeah. No, that character too. That's probably up there with Michael Myers too. Yeah. That was also another reason why my films Rust were inspired by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. The film Rust takes place in Texas. You know, it is about a cannibalistic killer, but he ends up hunting and killing some teenagers who walk or enter an abandoned horror attraction in Texas.
I'm telling you right now, man. I'm definitely gonna be watching those movies. I'm gonna let some of my friends know. I'm like, listen, we're doing a podcast on these movies because.
I mean, I hope you guys enjoy. Keep in mind, I will say this right now, Rust. If you do watch Rust was shot entirely in one day in 6 hours.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's all we thought we had the location for. So my cast and crew were on point on everything, and we were moving along. Lots of one-take wonders for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of stuff like that, and I respect stuff like that, especially when it comes to like independent movies. I'm just saying horror because you know it's a horror thing. But
Yeah.
because I've watched so many, and then I've had so many people on here, so I get it. Excuse me. So I understand, and then I mean, I'm an independent podcast. Like I'm not on a network. I don't have any budget coming in. I would love it, but so I get it, and it's just you don't. I understand people don't have that huge Hollywood. Everybody doesn't have that huge Hollywood budget, which
Yeah.
I feel in a way it's good and bad. I'll say the bad first. Obviously, it's bad because you can't just have that unlimited budget to do whatever you want. But I feel like it's good because people like you have to be more creative to get people's attention, which I feel
You
like
have
that
to utilize what you have for sure.
exactly, and I feel like that right there overall puts out a better. I'm trying to think, like a better product. The quality might not be the same as far as like the visuals because of the extra budget they have, but as far as the story and everything else and the ideas, I feel like you guys do a way better job. And the visual, I mean,
Yeah, I
and
appreciate that.
I feel like your guys' visual, audio, and everything is great. But again, I just understand like, with the budget, I just understand the whole budget thing. But the story, everything is damn near perfect, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
you definitely have to learn. You have to learn to do that. You have to learn to. If your budget, and this is the way I do with all my films, if your budget is $2,000 or if your budget is $300,000, you treat it like it's $1 million. You have to.
yeah,
You have to treat it that way from beginning to end. One thing that a lot of people don't know about me is I'm involved with the film from the beginning to the end. And when I mean I'm involved, I am literally involved. I write it, I direct it, I design all the costumes myself. Me and my dad build the sets together. Um, I do all the editing, all the VFX myself.
hmm
All the artwork, all the posters, I do all that myself as well. Yeah, I'm involved with everything. Even the camera work. As far as camera work goes, I did have a director of photography for The Immortal Wars and The Immortal Wars 2, solely because there was budget for that. So we definitely were going to do that for sure. But all my other projects, the short films, all that, I'm my own director of photography. I take on a lot of departments, and I kind of work on all that we can get to finish the products.
which hats off to you, man, because I know that's some tough. I know it's a lot of work, but
It is. It's a lot of moments where you're like, why in the world did I ever think of doing this?
but when it,
But the finished product is worth it.
I was just gonna say the finished product, you're like, this was awesome. Not only was this awesome, but I did this. Like I didn't
Yeah.
reach.
It makes it more personal for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, you put more
Yeah.
you put more passion and care into it because it's like it's your baby. You want to see this thing grow and succeed in the world, so to speak. So it's like I'm gonna
Yeah.
really try my hardest with this project, and so on and so forth down the road. And you learn more from it. Like okay, maybe I messed up doing this in this first one.
Yeah.
This next one I won't make that mistake again. But you might make another mistake, and each time you learn, you keep growing until the point where you're just like, boom, I got this down.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to do that, and that's another thing that I do. That I should say I did with the Immortal Wars. So the Immortal Wars, for a lot of people don't, for those who don't know, I should say, the Immortal Wars is basically like a Mortal Kombat meets Hunger Games type of film.
Ooh,
It's a very very combat versus type of scenario, and that's what the first one focused a lot. All the fighters were like on different battlegrounds, which we call them battlegrounds. They were on different battlegrounds. One's fighting in the desert, the other one's fighting in like a post-apocalyptic town, and yeah, so it was a lot of different sets. But one thing that the viewers and the fans of the movies really enjoyed was that whole versus. It was like you're watching a video game. So it was like Triclops versus Decay or something like that. To where when I moved to the second one, I shifted. I strayed away from that element, and I went more for like that Mad Max, Resident Evil, survival horror type of story.
nice.
That still followed up from the first one, but doing conventions and meeting a lot of the viewers and the fans from the movies, that's one element that they said that they wish they had seen more of in the Immortal Wars 2 was that versus combat scenario. So now I've taken the feedback and I've considered all that I've heard back, and I've gone back and I've rewritten certain parts of the third Immortal Wars, and now I'm going to give that back to them.
That's
It's
awesome.
important if they want that, you definitely have to, to the extent that we can do that and we have the ability to do that, go back and add that element back into the story. and give what the fans liked.
I feel like
So-
that's what you just said right there. It's like a real important gem that can go out to like anybody that's into your field. It's just give to for what you can give the fans what they want. I mean, according to if you can give them what they want to an extent,
Exactly.
because that's going to keep them.
I mean, there's certain times where you probably can't. You probably can't. Again, maybe budget or maybe anything. So there's certain reasons why you can't do certain things. But if you have the ability and the opportunity to do that, why not do it? If people fell in love with what you created the first time, you changed it. They still loved it, but they really liked what you did in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Why not give them back the elements that intrigued them in the first place to fall in love with your project? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something that I've always thought of, and that's with the Immortal Wars 3. It's the final one. It is the final one, and I definitely we're doing some stuff that the fans are not going to expect, but we are going to give back to them what they loved from the first one.
See, and with you saying that too, it's another thing I think you guys have a leg up on with Hollywood, because Hollywood, they're really just after the dollars. They really do not care what us fans want. We'll tell them what they want, what we want, and they're just like, well, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it this way. We're gonna do it this way. We're gonna make this same movie 47 times the same exact way, just different. Just
does happen a lot,
just in a different year. And you're just saying, like, I give the fans what they want. Any way that you can, you give them what they want. If it makes sense and if they loved it, why not bring it back? And that's awesome.
It's important. It's important to remember that the fans and the viewers are a big part of any artist's success.
Very
you
true.
have to always remember that, and that's why it's important for us to do it. Yeah, do it that way. You can do your own separate stories. Then I know there is already a prequel in post production right now to the Immortal Wars. It's started off as a prequel, but once again, hearing back that they wanted more background on these characters, and some of the fans really like this character of Tricalypse in the main. Like, we want to know what she's gone through, what led her up to the Immortal Wars. So I ended up, we did more reshoots, and we shot new scenes this past year, and now it's turned into more of a prequel/sequel to the Immortal Wars. So it's kind of giving them more of what's to come. That's going to lead up to the final Immortal Wars. So yeah,
I like that.
We're working a lot with that, and it was originally going to be a feature film, but I'm like totally saying something like exclusively I've never said it to the public ever. It was supposed to be a feature film, but after reviewing footage and going over the post-production stuff, we've decided that it's going to end up being a series, and we're going to release it as a series. I believe an 8-episode series. Right now, we're shopping around on platforms and networks to go for who we're going to give it to. But it will be, I guess, the web series spin-off to the Immortal Wars, leading up to the final film of the Immortal Wars 3.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And the series thing is a good idea, because I feel like sometimes, depending on how long each episode is, you said you're doing 8 episodes, you can kind of do a little bit more with those. Say if they're an hour episode, that's 8 hours of material versus an hour and a half movie. You can kind of tell, you can tell the story more, like really dig deep into the story if you wanted.
Yeah, no, and it goes back again to the fans and the viewers. We called it Immortal Origins Olive because the Tricalypse's real name is Olive Summerlin, so we called it her name basically. And I watched it, and I realized that if we release this as a feature film, the fans will be disappointed, in the sense of the Immortal Wars 1 and 2 are very action-packed. They're very heavy on the VFX and fight sequences, and just so much of the non-stop action sequences that we had in the first two, that this prequel is very character heavy, very dialogue heavy. It's not so much of a sci-fi action type of film. Lots of drama in it. So I'm like, people are going to be expecting the Immortal Wars when they see this. we can't market it as a movie. It has to be a series.
Oh.
You know, I did not want to disappoint those that have fallen in love with the first two films. You know, obviously the third one's going to be just as big, if not bigger, as far as the action and the VFX and all that. But this one, I was like, you know what? No, let's make it into a series. Let's show more of the characters than a full-blown sci-fi action movie.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I really like that a lot, because I'm the type. I mean, I love movies, I love series, but I'm like, there's times when I'm thinking, like, if this movie, some movies you watch, I'm like, if this movie was like a series, Netflix series or whatever, it could be so much better, because character development's an important thing in certain movies. Sometimes, like a Jason movie, it doesn't really matter too much. He's gonna kill them anyway. But
they won't last.
yeah. But certain movies where you want to, like, you know, you want to bring out multiple characters and tell their stories. Again, if you only have an hour and a half, 2 hour movie, it's kind of tough to do that, to really get to know a character, to really either love or hate a character, which I always love about movies. I'm like, I can't stand this fool, or I want this person to survive. And
yeah, no, you have to.
Over a series,
you have to think of that too.
Yeah, like over a series, you get, again, say if you do 8 episodes, 8 hours, you know, an hour apiece, that's 8 hours of developing and telling a good story, and then, you know, maybe leading off into a movie. And I just think it's awesome what you guys are doing. I think that's real cool.
Thank you. Like I said, I'm a fan myself of so many things out there that I find myself feeling that way too on certain things, where I'm like, I don't want the fans of the Immortal Wars to think that. I don't want them to lose interest. You know, obviously you're not going to please everyone. There's no way you can please everyone. But you definitely want to filter out as much as you can, so that you can not make everyone, but have everyone enjoy it more and better, you know.
Now, you said you've been to a few cons. Do you go to, like, horror conventions or more Comic Cons, or like a mix of both?
No, honestly, a mixture of everything. I've been on a press tour since the release of the second Immortal War. So this press tour consists of screenings, book signings, and conventions. So yeah, I've been doing, I think the last convention they had me do was Days of the Dead in Las Vegas. So I did that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be doing Shockfest in November. Yeah, no, I do a lot conventions. I do Soldier Con, which is it's like a Comic Con but on military basis for the military.
That's awesome.
For those who serve the country, you know. So I do a lot of stuff like that, and like I said, my team and my PR definitely work very hard, and they're amazing at throwing me out there and sharing my work, you know, to, you know, obviously though appropriate events, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So I do a lot of events like that. Constantly. There's probably like every month there's like 2 that I'm doing.
That's
yeah.
It's good though. It gets you out there. And me, like, as a con goer I did do my first con last year, as far as bringing my I just started my podcast last year, but I brought it out there in October, and I just had a great time. Like, the con I go to, it's called Scaricon.
Okay.
And what they'll do, like, say if you have a podcast or whatever, they'll let you get a media pass. They'll set you up with a table, 2 passes, 2 chairs. That's all free, which I think is awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Hell yeah, I've never heard of that. That's cool.
And like, I mean, I had to buy 2 more chairs, pay for 2 more chairs, like, get another media pass, which is fine, and I had to pay for power. But I had that section, you know what I mean? I had, like, that.
Yeah, still though, that makes a big difference though.
Oh, it's a huge difference, because you get that space for free pretty much. I mean, you pay a few dollars for the power and the extra chairs, but you get and you get to promote yourself for free. And around tons of, like, everybody there is a horror fan, so you're around tons of fans, which I was just like, this is awesome. It's cool sitting on this side of the table.
Yeah.
And
those events are so much fun.
They really are.
I love conventions. Yeah.
They really are. And I love, like, my brother and I, when we would go to these cons together. He moved out to Colorado now, but he's flying out for this one next month, Scaricon next month, actually. But when we go to these cons, one thing we always try to do when we have the extra money is go to one of those independent horror people who have a movie there, get that movie, and then just watch it, just check it out. And we try to get them to sign. We'll have them sign it too. And some of them seem so surprised, and they're like,
no,
"Really?"
That is awesome, man. I respect you for that. Like, that we need more of that, honestly. People who show support to the indie guys, for sure. Like, it's so hard as it is to get support,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's like with guys like you doing the stuff that you guys do, it's so, I don't know, like you just said, they're surprised. I know there's been a few times like that with me, and I'm like, people are like, can I get a picture with you, or can I do this? I'm like, wow, like, okay, yeah, like, they're not doing it just because, like, they know you created this art. You have the support. It means a lot. It's a very, very important thing that we need more of, for sure, in the industry.
And that might right there, what you said is like, again, when they sound surprised, like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, you made this, right? Or you're in this. You made this art. You made this project. I would love to have your autograph. And I respect it. I love the genre. Horror is my favorite genre, hands down, by far. So it's just like, why wouldn't I want your autograph? Why wouldn't I want a picture with you? And just whatever. And another thing I will try to do, especially when I get people on here, is I try to help promote any way I can, as far as on the podcast, sharing sharing whatever. If I can afford to back something, I'll back it, and I'll let you guys come on here, promote the hell out of your stuff. I promote it, and then I'll share it on my horror pages and all that stuff, and just tell people about it, and hopefully people see it and enjoy it like I did, or like I will. And it's one of those things where it's just, I don't understand why more people don't do it, especially when it comes to social media, when you'll see 10,000 fight videos, or you'll see the my favorite is I'll say with the Popeyes chicken sandwiches from a couple weeks ago, how that blew up over social media, right? And then you see these posts, if you guys supported your friends' businesses, like you supported Popeyes, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, you're sharing that post, but you're not sharing your friend's business at all. Share your friend's business. Stop sharing the stupid post. Share that business. Share that video that somebody made of their short horror film or whatever it is. Share that Indiegogo project. Even if you can't back it, you're still sharing it so other people can see it and someone can back it.
It's so true, man. It is. It's so true. It's, people focus on so many, like, I don't know, just unnecessary stuff, honestly.
They do.
It's so like, come on, you guys. Yeah, I mean, even a simple post of someone posting what they ate for dinner gets thousands of likes,
Yeah.
It's insane. It really is insane.
There's and I'll just say shout out to Vincent Usher and his wife. They make they're trying to start, I think they want to open up a little restaurant. But right now they do like home cooked meals from their home. Amazing food. And me and my wife had like a week or two ago. But I told them, I was like, look, man, send me a picture of your menu. When I do my next YouTube video, I'm gonna put the picture of the menu in there. I'm gonna shout you out. And I did that for like my last two videos. And today I showed him the video. He's like, yo, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And it's just because one hand washes the other. And the same day that he dropped the food, the same day we ordered the food from them, I gave him a big stack of business cards. I was like, hey, man, can you hand it? He's like, of course, no problem. So he told me today, he's like, with every meal that people order from me, I drop a business card of yours in the bag. And it's just simple stuff like that. People just...
It makes a difference, definitely.
It does.
It definitely makes a difference.
And I feel like a lot of people look for a financial gain all the time when it comes to trying to help people. Yeah. And I'm looking at it more like, if the money comes, it comes. That's not what I'm looking for as far as this podcast goes. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I got a bunch of money from it, I'm not going to say no. That'd be stupid.
Of course, yeah.
Like, no, this is just a hobby. I don't want that. No, but like, I'm the type of person, especially with, like, again, with my table last year, a couple people that I work with on the podcast, a couple friends that live in different states that are into horror. They either have like a horror store or a horror podcast or whatever, any type of podcast. Like, yo, send me your business cards, and at my table, I'll spread it out. And they're like, are you sure? You'll do that for free? I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm like, the only thing I ask is if I can send you some cards, and you'll do the same for me.
Exactly.
And I actually...
cross-promote, for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. I got that idea from somebody I seen on Facebook. What they were doing was they were going to cons. I don't think they had a table. I think they were going as like a fan or whatever. I'm not 100% sure. But they were going to cons, and they were charged like $5 per day. So it's like $15. I'll hand them out for all 3 days. But I'm just like, just send it to me. I'll set it up at my table free. And the only thing I ask is, I'll send you some cards. Just hand them out there, because you get more exposure. You get more out of it. And not everything's about money at the end of the day. You can't really look at that financial gain to be your goal as far as helping others, because cross promotion is the best thing, and it's easy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, cross promotion is how I want to say a lot of these social influencers out there, social media influencers, have become who they are and why they're so famous. You know, one famous person probably shared a post from them. There you go, cross promoting them.
Exactly.
Now they're famous. You definitely, it's very important, but I don't think a lot of people understand that. I don't think a lot of people actually understand that anything that comes to social media or marketing or PR is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Social media runs the world practically.
Definitely.
You know, in the entertainment, it does. I mean, you're looking at movies now that they're casting social media influencers not because they're great performers, but because they have millions of followers. They know they're going to make a sale.
That's very, very true.
You know, it's the way the industry is now, and you have to be on top of that, and you have to be ready to figure out how to get to that. You know.
Mm-hmm. And it's smart. Like I do like how like there's some people who I watch on like Vine and YouTube videos. I like how I see them in the actual movies now, just because of what they do from their little, say, 10-minute videos or whatever it is, the time and effort they put into that, and then they get to be on the big screen. They might not be producing or directing, but they get to act in it, and I'm like, that's real cool. And it's all from people just watching their videos and sharing and free promotion.
Yeah. Free promotion, exactly. That's what it is, yeah.
But then it all comes back to, you know, some of your own friends are like, you know, I'll share this video, but I'm not going to share it. I'm like, it takes you 2 seconds to hit share. Come on.
Exactly.
I'm not asking. Yeah. I'm not asking for anything.
That is a big, big issue for sure. I run into that a lot myself. Yeah.
But it's, I don't know, man. I enjoy it too, though. Like with the whole promotion thing, not even because of the feedback that I get from people, and what it does is. I don't think people really think about it. When you're promoting somebody else, like say for example, when I start promoting your stuff with this, your fans are gonna see these shares and they're gonna come back to say this episode, like, hey, he was on this pod. Let me check this out. Okay, let me go back and check out some other episodes. And then as far as people that listen to my podcast, they're gonna hear this episode and they go, oh, let me check out his movies. Let me check out some of the other stuff he does, and go. You know, it'll go from there and just.
Yeah.
It all helps you.
Even if it's one follower or one person that becomes a fan,
exactly,
that's one more than you had the day before.
Exactly.
For sure. Oh yeah, I agree.
And I'm even at the point now where I'm like, you can listen to my podcast, you can love it or hate it. You can love it, share it, talk good about it. You can love it, or you can hate it, share it even, and talk bad about it. Either way, it's still some. I mean, I don't want it to be hated, but either way, it's still getting out there. Either way, you're keeping it going by saying, "Oh yeah, this Horror Source 30 podcast is terrible. Check it out." And someone's gonna be listening to it like, "Oh, you're crazy. This is great."
Exactly. Exactly. Good or bad publicity is still publicity.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's not me doing something stupid, I'm cool. Exactly. I'm cool with it.
As long as it's not something that's gonna harm me or anyone I love, then we're good.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Say what you want.
Yeah.
If you could, this is back to the remake thing. Besides Resident Evil, if you could remake another horror movie, which one would it be and why?
Ooh, that is a good question, and I already know exactly what movie because I've been working on trying to get the rights for it the past 2-3 years.
Oh.
So there's a movie that was from the 70s called Beyond the Door.
Okay.
It's a movie about possessions and very about a woman being possessed and trying to find the birth of the Antichrist and stuff like that. Elements like that. It was a movie, and the reason I want to remake this movie was this was the movie that terrified my father when he was a kid.
Oh, nice.
And it was a film that he said this movie terrified me. So when he had first mentioned this back in 2007, 2006 is when he was already talking about it. He was telling me like I can't find it, and we couldn't find it anywhere at that time. We couldn't find a DVD copy, we couldn't find the VHS copy, nowhere. We couldn't find it, but he knew. He's like, it's called Beyond the Door. We have to keep on looking for it. I finally did find it. I found it off of this website online. It cost me like $70 for a DVD of this movie. Yeah, it was insane. It was like, I can't believe I just spent that much on a single DVD. And I watched it, and it terrified me. It is an old, obviously it's from the 70s. It is an older movie, but just the story and the concept was, it really messed with me. It traumatized me to a point where I was like, I'm not sleeping with the lights off after I watched this movie. You know, people were laughing at me. I was like, this movie is scary, and I can understand why my dad was, because my dad was always like, you need to make this movie, remake this movie. And now I'm like, you know what? Yes, I want to find the rights. I want to get the contact the right people and connect with the right people so that I get the opportunity and the ability to remake this movie, modernize it obviously for this generation, but still sticking to the original elements that the older version had.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was, as you were saying, I was just Googling it. Beyond the Door.
Beyond the Door, yeah. Oh, now you can buy DVDs because now the distribution company picked it up. So now I'm like, we're trying to contact them. Like, where do we get these rights? We want to remake this. You know, like we can make a pretty intense and terrifying movie that I think will shock the audiences for sure. Yeah.
I guess that's another movie I'm gonna have to check out.
It's a good movie, and it's a simple sound. It's funny. The scariest thing in the movie, yes, it is a terrifying movie, and what the visuals are terrifying, yes. But there's one element from that movie that till this day I cannot. If I'm by myself, I will not listen to it, and it is the sound. There's a certain sound in the movie that's to show that the devil is around, and it's the sound of him breathing. But it's the way the track was recorded and the way they edited into the film that it's like you can, I don't know, it's really weird, but it's the way I can describe it. I can feel the breathing. It's really weird.
I get what you mean.
To say it like that. But
I get what you mean.
You're hearing it, but at the same time you're like, that breathing, I can feel it, and it makes me very uncomfortable. And that's what scares me. One of the biggest things that scares me from that film.
I'm definitely gonna have to watch that movie with my wife. That's definitely gonna have to happen.
She might not like it.
Well, she's
it starts off very, whoa, am I really looking at that?
Yep. She is a horror fan, and she loves like the possession type movies. That's like her thing. Mine is the gory slashers.
Well,
so
yeah, she might like it then.
this might be right up her alley. And I just, like I said, I just looked it up, and it's actually on Amazon Prime now, and Tubi.
There you go.
And I have both of those, so yes, that's another movie.
And there's like three. I think there's like 2 or 3 sequels.
Okay.
But the first one is the one that really does mess with me.
Yeah. Yep. I believe it.
Yeah.
That would be cool though if you can get the rights to that and got to kind of modernize it some and just put it out there again.
Put it out there and still give, obviously viewers and fans who are fans of this film, because there are fans from this original film who probably would have never thought they're going to remake that,
Mm-hmm.
That's one remake I would do. I think that's probably the only remake I would touch.
Okay.
I don't really. I would definitely direct sequels for sure off the bat. I would. I'd jump on that right away. But to remake, I think you want to keep its the imprint it already has, the original. I would not feel, unless I made a connection like I did with this film, I would not feel like I had the right to touch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This already has an imprint on viewers and fans. Like, I would not want to disappoint or ruin the memories or whatever connections they've made with this project. So I can't do that. Yeah.
No, that's understandable though. That's really understandable. You don't want to be the person who you feel mess it up maybe to those diehard fans. Like, oh man, this guy
totally messed it up. Yeah.
Now I'm not watching anything of his.
Exactly.
And they could be great movies. So I get that though. I do get it. And again, you seem like the type of person that just likes to have a fresh and new idea anyways. So it's just.
It never stops, man. Honestly, it never does. I'll tell you quick story.
Mm-hmm.
So I was approached by a network that they wanted me to direct an episode for a series. It's a horror series that comes out. It's called Tales of the Grave.
Okay.
Every year, they basically choose 8. I may be wrong. It may be 6, but I'll just say 8. 8 directors to direct an episode each, and it airs on the Monster Channel in the fall. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Keep in mind, I'm traveling and I'm doing the press tour right now. And recently, the tragedy that happened in my hometown of El Paso, I had to go back home and be there with my family. And there was so many things going on that I never like, we started and then I had to obviously put everything on hold because I had to go back home.
Yeah.
That the idea was then thrown off. Like, oh shit, what do I have to do now? Like, I have to finish this. They need it by in the next 2 weeks, and so I'm like, okay, what are we doing? So I literally, everything that was shot already, we had to scrap. We couldn't use any of it. We had already shot for 2 days. The cast was some of the cast members weren't available to come back. So I'm like, okay, ideas need to come now.
Yeah.
So I had this doll that one of my producers gave me a while back. It was just a doll. I was like, oh, I'll use it for like a Halloween decoration or something. And it's this creepy doll. It was like a puppet. And I saw it in the stores, and I'm like, I got it. I know exactly what I'm going to do. So I pulled out this whole like painting, and I was like, I'm going to create this doll. And I was painting, and I was making a mess in my house. And I was like, all right, this is it. And I created this character called Billy. And it's this creepy doll that's like a mixture of Annabelle and I don't know what else. It's a creepy doll. It was so creepy that I had to put it in a trash bag and leave it in my balcony.
Oh, damn.
Because I was like, I don't want that. If that thing moves, I live by myself. I'm not going to be dealing with that. There's no way. So I created this whole story revolving around the doll. And we shot it in one day entirely, this entire short film. I titled it Billy. And then the idea was like, oh, the opening scene and the ending scene and this and that happened. I'm going to connect it to the universe. All right, there we go. We have another chapter of the universe, and it's good to go.
Wow.
The idea just came like out of nowhere within hours, and I wrote the script within like 3 hours. It was insane. The idea comes, and it's just, you can't stop it after that.
That's amazing though, how people just have that gift, like, oh, boom, idea. I got to put it on paper right now, and it's out. That's awesome.
Out.
Now,
It can get hard too. It can get difficult hard. There's a lot of times where I can't connect and I can't focus, and ideas are not coming, and it's really bad. Those times are really bad.
I was just about to ask you. I was like, I was just gonna say, do you ever get writer's block? And you pretty much just answered that.
Yeah, and really bad, man. Really, really bad. To where I pull myself away from film entirely.
Mm-hmm.
I won't even watch a movie. I will sit in a quiet room, and I'll go for a run or a walk or just go for a hike, and something to just reset.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just clear my mind. I'm not a film director. I'm not a writer. I am just a human being working right now, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing at this moment, and I reset. And it normally does work. It normally does work, but there are times where not even that works. It can hit you really bad.
Oh, yeah. I believe it.
Yeah.
But, man, I really got to check out, like, everything you've done, though. So much just... You're selling it very, very well, which is important. But everything just sounds so amazing and interesting. Even the thing as simple as the doll you're talking about, that sounds so cool. How you said that's the Monster Channel?
It's going to come on the Monster Channel in the fall. I don't have an exact date. They haven't given us that. But, yeah, it'll be airing this fall. I believe in October it'll probably be airing, yeah.
I'm not 100% familiar. Is that like a streaming thing, or is that...
I believe so. I believe that Monster Channel is a streaming network.
Okay.
I believe so. It's more classic horror, and this series is like more of a modern creating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Content. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that. That sounds really interesting.
I know they have all the details, like on the TV guide. You're able to see all the details of where and when the Monster Channel will be showing certain things. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's so freaking cool. Like, I just...
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, no, like I said, as an artist and as a creator, and I think especially in this industry, it's constantly moving at lightning speed. It's evolving daily. You have to, as an artist, this is the way I think, you have to get ready, jump on, and run along with everyone else, because the next best thing is right behind you.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly that. You have to think that way.
That's a good way to think, though. You're always just ready to just do something new and keep moving forward with it.
Yeah, you have to. You know? I do have friends that are amazing artists and creators as well, and they'll spend a year on one project, you know,
mm-hmm.
and they do very well at that. I can't do that. I'm opposite. I will probably do. Well, I mean, with the last few years, I have been consumed completely with the Immortal Wars, and I focus on the Immortal Wars for 2 years and the Immortal Wars 2 for like a year and a half. But before that, I was doing like 2 features and like 5 short films a year, and it was crazy before that. And this year kind of turned out to be that way too. We have 3 features and 2 short films this year that we've done. So we're moving along pretty fast.
That's good though. I mean, you guys are always creating and doing new things, and it's just you're always giving the fans something to look forward to and to watch. It's not like, oh man, I gotta wait 8 years before this guy does something else. Shit.
I know. I'm the same way too. I'm like, shit, it's been 3 years already since his last movie?
What the hell's he been doing with his life? Mind you, I don't know that they're just working hard on another film or 2 films, spending all this time and energy on that. But me, I'm just like, okay, look, 3 years ago, come on now. It takes me an hour and a half to watch this movie. How long does it take you to write it?
Right? That's a good way of thinking of it, yeah. Oh, that's great.
But yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on.
No, I appreciate it. It's been fun. Honestly, no, it's been an honor. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, and the next time I have you on, I will have watched some of your films, hopefully all of them, but I can't promise all.
I hope you enjoy them. I hope you enjoy them, man. They're definitely a labor of love, and just little films that I wanted to express, how I was feeling or my emotions at that time.
That's a good way to put it out there. That's a good way to put it, man. So hang on. What's your I'll say a 3-year plan as far as your movies go? Or do you really have one yet?
Yeah. For the most part, yeah. So we are finalizing all of the trilogies this year. Well, within the next half year, I should say. We do finish the trilogy of Rust this year, A Telephobia this year, and The Immortal Wars, we do end it next year.
Okay.
So all of the 3 trilogies will be complete. And as far as my own original stories, that's kind of all we have going right now. We do have the series coming out from Olive, and we do have another film called My Little Nightmare. That was the first script I ever wrote back when I was in college, and that one is being produced, and we are working on that one. But right now, my team and they're really pushing me to get into studio work. So that's for the next 3 years. That's something we're going to be focusing on, is trying to get into studio work and trying to do more. Let's just say we're working on trying to bring the next step. What's the next step higher from where we're at right now?
Okay, no, that makes sense.
So, yeah, 17 years doing my own original content. We feel there's enough to jump onto big studio projects. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
It'll happen. It just
fingers crossed.
It's one of those things you just got to keep working hard at, and eventually something's got to give, I guess. As long as you don't give up on it.
Yeah, no, definitely cannot give up. Got to keep on moving forward and working hard.
Exactly, and keeping that passion for it.
Yeah, you have to. You have to love it. You have to love what you're doing and stand by what you're doing. You have to believe in it, for sure.
I have one more question for you, and this is for like up and coming independent artists as far as directing, producing, writing, acting. What is one piece of advice you would give them?
One piece of advice, I would say the one thing I would say is keep on creating, keep on throwing content out there. Don't be scared of the feedback or the reaction you're going to get from viewers. It's what's going to make you stronger and make your creative mind work harder on the next project. Don't be scared to express yourself with your projects. To me, that's very important. People tend to hold back, or they let the fear or the stress or anxiety hold them back from what they're trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And just use what you can to express yourself. It's better to, instead of holding everything you're going through and what you've gone through in your mind, why not use it and express it in art and let it out and release it that way? I think that's very important.
That's a really good freaking answer right there, man. I just thinking about it, just because it's like, And that goes with any type of art, whether it's podcasting, music, whatever it is. If you're angry, instead of acting on that anger and doing something stupid, put it in your art somehow.
Exactly. Yeah,
I like
exactly
that.
That would be my advice. Definitely use whatever art outlet you have to create and express yourself that way, and let it all out. Don't hold back.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So is there anything you want to plug before we wrap this up, or?
No, I mean, honestly, just thank you for having me, and those who do want to see what we've created, you can watch both Immortal Wars on VOD platforms, or you can go to Walmart right now, or Target. Your major retailers have them on stands.
Mm-hmm.
And Atelophobia and Rust, both trilogies, part 1 and 2 of both films, those are available on VOD platforms. You can visit our website, carcass-studios.com, and check out trailers and exclusive content that we only have available on there.
Nice.
And and just the comic books. The comic books are in stores in Texas, Nevada, and in California right now, and they'll be going on sale on the website real soon.
That's freaking awesome, man. That's so cool.
Thank you.
That's real cool.
Thank you, man.
Do you have like a Facebook group fan page, or?
I do, yeah. If you search Joe Lujan on Facebook or on Instagram, Twitter, definitely, yeah, you can follow me. And I am always posting up different things, behind the scenes, craziness that we get ourselves into. If you guys want to check that out and see what's the next stop in this tour that we're doing, definitely, stop by and say hi. And I tend to give away a lot of free stuff.
Well.
So if you guys want free comic books, look at the next stop, and I might give you one. Yeah.
That's real cool right there. I would love to see you guys come on. I'm all the way on the East Coast, but come to this little Scarecon over here one day. That would be pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah. Definitely have to look into that.
Yeah, they have 2 a year. They have one in June, that's out in Massachusetts, and then they have one in actually next month in October, and that's in Rochester, New York.
Oh wow, okay, cool.
And
awesome.
with this, which I just learned this a couple months ago, because I had the guy who runs the con, I had him on my podcast in June, and I'm gonna have him on again, I think next weekend. But the October one, and this I guess is a future thing for you even, is a film fest. And I never knew this. I've been going to this con for years, and just found this out a couple months ago. So I was like, that's freaking awesome. So I'm like, now anybody who does like indie movies, I try to let them know, that do indie horror movies, I should say, that they have the film fest. I guess you send him to his email. I don't know how it all works. I believe he gave me his email to send. I don't know how the other end of it works. So I'm like, that's my part I can do for everybody, and then you guys got to take it from there.
Yeah, no, that is amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to look into that. That's awesome.
But what I'll do when we're done recording, I'll try to get you his information, his email and stuff, and his Facebook, and a couple other things
Sounds
too.
Good. Yeah, let's do that. That'd be great.
But yeah, man, thanks again for coming on. I'm gonna wrap this ending up real quick. Just stay put for like a couple more minutes. And
awesome.
Again, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, but thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime, man. And listeners, you guys gotta go check Joe's stuff out ASAP as soon as you hear this episode. Before you hear this episode, check out all his projects. Check out that website he's talking about. He's real passionate about his work, which we need more directors, producers, writers, actors, everything. All the above. We need more that are more hungry and really love what they do rather than just out. I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody wants to make money, but they're not just out to make money. They really want to make us fans sit in our seats and watch these movies and continue to watch them. And I know, just from talking to him, I know that he does some great work. You can just tell he has the passion for it. So everybody, let's follow him. Let's support it. Support indie horror. Support these indie artists. And just keep it growing. Help the podcast grow too. Keep rate, share, review, all that good stuff. You know where to find me. I'm on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, every platform you can listen to podcasts on. And as always, I'll see you in